Hi everyone, I hope you are well and I hope you are excited and ready to start your experiments this week. So today, Monday, you'll be working on setting up your lab space if you haven't already, but you have today to do that. Put everything on your lab space area, and then tomorrow, Tuesday, you start collecting your soil, and then every day check on your pots and water every other day. But just in case your soil dries quickly, you might have to water your plants every single day. So in this video, I'm just going to share on the Google platforms that we're going to use for this course. Most of these will be what you use for your assignments. Right, so I'm sharing with you our course syllabus, which you all received. In case you haven't, let me know, and I will make sure to send a link to that. So this is how our course syllabus looks like. The first part is like information about the course overview, the different sections of the course, our goals, and then what we will achieve by the end of this course, and general course information. And then there's a part that says assessment and assignment. So this is what I'm going to focus on. And so this is a 2-credit class, and because of this, we actually have to spend several hours outside of the designated class times. And so, for example, this week you're spending a couple of hours doing these experiments, collecting soil and prepping up for your research work. There are several assignments that we're going to be doing weekly for this course. And the first one is where we have to watch videos every week, videos on different topics that we'll talk about during the class times, and will help us to kind of like connect to our research work. And so this is something that we are doing this week. So you actually received this assignment a couple of weeks ago. So some of you have already started working on this, so that's great, but you still have time. You also receive an email today reminding you about that. So watch videos, and then you then answer questions based on these videos that are in the Google Class Jamboard. So how do we work with these? You have a link to these, and when you click on that link, this is how this looks like. So if you're using a phone or a tablet, I think you might have to actually install the Jamboard app. But if you're using a computer, it should just like automatically be part of your Google platform. And so these are divided in 2 weeks. There's pre-class week 1, which we're doing now. The next week we'll go to 2. The other week, officially week 1 starts, then week 2, then week 3. And week 4 is when we're kind of like, we'll be winding up on our experiments. So when we come here, focus on the specific week. So this is our week. So we click on that. And when you get to the page, you can see that up here it has like numbers. So in this case, kind of like frames or quote unquote pages. So this one in particular has 9 frames or pages, and we're on page 1. So on the top of each page, you're going to have the title of a video. So this one is a scientific method video, and then there's a question. And so, for example, here it says, for activities this week, which part of a scientific method have you used? And so I was very excited to see like everyone who started working on this early on. You were talking about all the different ways of like things you've done at home, things you've done at school, and how the scientific method relates to that. So that's really exciting. So how do you answer here? So you can use different words. You can use text or sticky notes, or at some point later you can even use like a drawing, depending on like what the question is. So on the left sidebar here, we have different options. The first, so we have like a pen, you have an eraser, you have like a little arrow, but the sticky note is one option. So when you click on that sticky note, you're going to have something like this, and then you can actually change the color. Okay, and then you just like type in here your answer. This week I used dash, dash, dash. And then when you're done, you just save it. And then you click on the page. And then you can go to your sticky note and take it anywhere. And you can actually like control the size of it. If you make it bigger or smaller, then that kind of like also works on the size of the font. And you can go to the side of it, and if you want to edit, if you want to duplicate, if you want to delete, or if you want to put this like forward or backwards. So that's a sticky note. Sticky notes are useful in that if we have different colors, we can actually differentiate between different answers. And then, but if you want to use a text, you go down here, and then you just double click and you start typing. I did, and then when you're done, you just click on the page, and then you can also move it around, and in the same way you can change the size to change the font. So this is what we do for this. Now, because we have several of us, we'll actually, so every week I'll come and check this, and you get a grade if you have completed and answered the question. So if I don't see, and make sure you put your name at the end of each of these, because I will grade for completion. So what I will do is I will actually make 2 pages of the same type, so that we can actually allow for everyone to, because we don't have enough space. So say continue. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for all of them. So this is how you work on your Jamboard. And our next part of Google platform, Google Docs. So you record your experiment methods and results in the analysis in your electronic lab notebook. So when you click on this, we see that we have this for the whole class. Each of you have an electronic lab notebook. So when you come here, just look for your name and open this Google Doc. So I'm going to go to mine, Jedai's or Jedaidah's. And this is how it looks like for all of you. You have page numbers on the top right corner, and you have a table of contents to start with. And so as we go through each week, you should complete this section. Complete the section based on the page numbers. So for week 1, which is now, we have June 20th to June 24th, and you have to write the experiment title. So this is like a summary of like what we're doing each week, and from the videos and from the classes, you'll be able to write what that title is, and I put the page number. And then when you go down, we now have these experiments put on a week-by-week basis. So the date for our first experiment is 6/21, which is tomorrow, Tuesday. And then I put the title of experiment, and then the purpose of the experiment is kind of like an expansion of your title. So if you're doing soil collection, then the purpose is to collect soil, where you're collecting the soil from, specify the location, your city, your state, and a summary of everything that we're doing, and then have your materials that you're going to use. Then we also have to record methods and the method or procedure. And this can be in full sentences or bullet points or numbers. So this is up to you. And then you then have the results section. And so this is week 1. And throughout this week, even after you collect your soil, you also have to water your pots every other day or every day. And then some weeks you have to do some analysis, and the conclusion is just like a summary, like what actually happened, was the purpose achieved or not. And then you have the template for the following weeks, and we'll talk about this each week. Okay, so that was for the electronic lab notebook. All right, and then the last part is where we then have to take photos. And then our other way of recording is by taking photos. So if you go to the photo uploads folder, again, you each have one with your name. And yeah, so in case your name is missing or misspelled, let me know. I will correct that. Yeah, so I'm going to go to mine, for example. So we all have the same template. This is divided in 2 weeks. So you go to your particular one and then you start putting your individual photos. I will check this every week and I'll check this for completion. I'll put some comments, and for you to get a full grade each week on each slide, you have to have a title. So the title has to be specific. So all of you, it says pre-class week 1, but then you have to specify what the specific title of that week is, and then have at least 2 photos or more. So for me here, it's an example of me. I plan to put 4 photos, and when you put the photos, you also have to put captions. And so you can decide to do whatever part it is. And if you think that you want to put more than 4 photos, that's fine. Just like then you can just like insert a new slide here. Okay. And you can put your own title and make sure you still say if it's week 1 or week 2. And this goes on for each week, where you have to put a title, you have to put your photos, you have to put a caption, and that's how you get your full grades. Yes. So, and then at the end of this course, one thing that we do as scientists is that we have to, when we do our research work, we have to report or communicate our research work, our findings. And so for this course, in our last week, we're going to do this by doing a poster presentation. And so all the information that you're going to have in your lab notebook, as well as your photo uploads, all that is going to go into your poster presentation. Okay, so when you come here, there are several templates of posters. So there are about 5 templates here. We have this one that is purple, here it's blue, another blue one, gray, burgundy, yellow, burgundy. And so it's up to you to choose which one you like from these ones. And then when you pick, for example, you say you want to pick the purple template, then just make a copy of it and then give it your name. So that's the copy, and then put your full name. So rename it. Name this as Jedaidah Chilufya. Okay. And so by the time we are meeting in our Zoom sessions, I would like all of you to have picked a poster template, but we won't start working on this right now, so you still have time. Then we also have examples of posters that my previous students in the lab did. And so feel free to open these examples and just like to have an idea of how like a poster looks like. And then we also have a Google Doc that just gives tips and guidance on how to make a poster. So feel free to do that. And then here we also have a template. On the final day when we're having our presentations, we're going to have this to just kind of like plan on the order of the presentation. So you don't have to worry about this, but just remember that this is our template. And so all information that we actually will be doing throughout the course is going to finally end up in a poster. So if I go to this example of my previous student here, she was actually a high school student just like you, and it was like back in 2019, and this is the work that she did. So you have an introduction section, and you're going to learn about what to put in your introduction, hypothesis, objectives, and then methods, and final results. So her work is different from yours, but posters generally have like a similar format. And so feel free to look at that just to have an example. Okay. Okay. And so that was all I had to share today. And I'm excited to see all your work, all your questions to your videos, and your notes in your eLab notebook, as well as your photos. And I would do the same. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.